for friendship reasons, she was like, sure, let's give it a whirl. And that became our cell. It developed over the course of 4 or 6 months, and we had success that grew slowly for each of our case officers as we kind of built the rails for this train, largely on Jihee's back.
Now, there were all different people. You go through a bunch of different cases in the book of sources that you targeted who were, people you wanted to turn effectively within Falcon.
So we had a couple. We had a couple that came on really early because they liked the idea of a challenge.
This was Beverly and, what was his name, Luke?
Yep, Beverly and her husband Luke came on early because Beverly's a high flyer, hard charger, go-getter kind of gal, and Luke does what his wife wants. They were also married.
That works.
Yeah. And then we also had Tasha come on board, and Tasha was like this complete,
like the flower girl, like the hippie.
Yeah, she was like a hippie at heart, but she was just a complete outsider. She's so good at CIA because you would never think that she belongs at CIA. You would think that she was going to be selling soap at some farmer's market somewhere.
What made her want to do it? Like, what made, because she was really like that as a personality, the way you describe her in a book. Like, what made her want to be a spy?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I don't know why she chose CIA. I don't know if she's kind of like Jihee, where she would have never chose CIA, but CIA chose her, and she was like, well, why not? Let's give it a whirl.
Interesting.
But I think she chose to work on our cell because CIA was never a family for her. Like, she didn't have a lot of close friends at CIA. They didn't believe the same things she believed in. They didn't jive with her. Her husband was unemployed, and he followed her around. So like, there was just so much different about her life than the typical CIA officer. So inside the cell, she found a family, and we all loved each other. We took care of each other, backed each other up, helped with kids, helped with spouses, etc. So I think with us, she came into a new place where she already felt ostracized, and we were like, hey, we're building this close-knit group. Do you want to be part of it? And she was willing to take a guess that we were going to do the right thing because she already believed everybody did the right thing until somebody stomped on her flower.
So James, Tasha, Beverly, Luke, anyone else in there?
So those were our case officers.
Yeah.
And then we had a regional tech ops person who came and went depending on where he was needed in the region. And we ended up having a local interpreter, local translator, who was also assigned to Wolf in a rotation and who was previously friends with Jihee.
Yeah.
So Jihee was able to pull that girl aside and say, hey, you're amazing at languages and we could use you for our work. And for friendship reasons, she was like, sure, let's give it a whirl. And that became our cell. It developed over the course of 4 or 6 months, and we had success that grew slowly for each of our case officers as we kind of built the rails for this train, largely on Jihee's back.
Now, there were all different people. You go through a bunch of different cases in the book of sources that you targeted who were, people you wanted to turn effectively within Falcon. Let's start with the converse one. This one was fascinating to me. So this was someone who was not on any flowcharts anywhere, completely unknown in any agency records, probably anywhere else within U.S. government, who you found basically, she was a girl following around this other known guy.
Correct.
So how did you figure out who she was and who was she?
So this is all targeting magic from Jihee, right? So one of the things that makes a very good targeter is somebody who can see a pattern in a lot of noise. And Jihee's capable of seeing the smallest pattern in a very large footprint of noise. And what she found was a series of flight manifests where this known Falconian intelligence officer was traveling, and this other name would appear on the same manifest, unrelated, not in the same seat.
It wasn't his guma. His mistress or something like that.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
But what we found is that there's this person who's appearing over and over again. Same manifest, different seat, same locations. Is that a mistress? Mistresses normally sit close to the person.
Right.
Is it somebody else on their team, some junior officer, some minder, something else? We don't know. So we see the person multiple times and we decide, you know what, let's have someone target this individual. So Jihee starts to run as much information as she can on the person. There isn't anything on our formal records. So Jihee turns to social media and open source. And then she starts to see that this girl is a girl. She sees that she's active. She sees that she plays tennis. She sees that she's sporty. She sees that she's girly. And she's like, if we're going to target this person, I think we should send Beverly to target her because Beverly is like that. Tasha couldn't have a conversation about pedicures if it killed her. But Beverly could, right?
And Beverly's older, right?
And Beverly's older. We didn't know that the older thing was going to be a big deal until after they actually started talking. But that's kind of the magic that a targeter can bring to an operation is they can say, here's what we know about the person, and here's the talent that we have on the team. So let's pick this player to go after that target.
And you guys talked about something interesting here that relates to spies all around the world at all these different agencies, which is that by this point in the story, social media is a part of culture. And you would think, oh, a spy is going to stay off that. But it got so mainstream in countries around the world that a spy, needs to be on that to kind of maintain my normalcy cover or whatever, so to speak, if they're looking at it like, well, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be getting information from other people. So if I'm doing that, they can't know who I am. So if I have an Instagram, then, we're all good.
Right.
So it seems like this girl was kind of a bit of almost like represented a symbolic pivot where you guys were realizing that, like, oh, wait a minute. So she's got this Instagram that shows her traveling places, playing tennis, doing normal stuff. That's a good cover story.
Well, what's great about it, and I love that you're bringing this up because there's a difference between a cultivated account, as we call it, and an actual account, a genuine account. Because a cultivated account demonstrates operational security within the content that it shares, whereas a actual open account, a genuine account, does not. So, for example, a genuine account might talk about where specifically you are at a specific time, right? I'm going to tag myself at Giovanni's restaurant. I'm going to say I'm here right now. Here's a picture. Timestamp says it's 5:45 and I just got here at 5:40. That's not operationally secure. Somebody could see that you're at Giovanni's restaurant, see that the time was 5 minutes ago, and then boom, they're going to Giovanni's restaurant.
Right.
So that's how a genuine account generally works. A cultivated account obfuscates that. They take a picture at Giovanni's, and then in the comments are like, I really enjoyed my dinner at Giovanni's yesterday. They don't even post it within a 24-hour period of time. Or they don't tag Giovanni's at all. They say, really appreciated my Italian dinner at this great place and whatever, right? And that's how you create an account that looks genuine to the average viewer, but when you put it under scrutiny, you can't reverse engineer it. And that's what we found with Converse. With Converse's account is that as she continued to post, it was crafted. It was good. You didn't know where she was, when she was. You knew that she had friends. You didn't know who her friends were. You knew that she liked sports. You didn't know exactly which sports they were. You didn't know where her favorite tennis shop was, where she liked to play tennis. You didn't know her favorite tennis team. You didn't know her favorite drink. You didn't know if she drank. You didn't know where she hung out, what nightclubs she went to, where she went to church. You knew nothing.
Air mystery.
But to the average person scrolling through, she looked totally normal.
Now, it would turn out she was an intelligence officer training under this guy, effectively.
Correct. Different intelligence agencies around the world work in different ways. CIA has a very formal pipeline and a training program and a protocol and a group of old people who decide what young people become the new case officers. Other places, it's more tailored. It's more mentor-based. In this case, she was mentoring under the senior case officer, or the senior case officer above her.
And that was the hypothesis you guys had come up with.
Well,
and it was correct.
Correct. That was the hypothesis that we had come up with as we started to meet her and learn more about the relationship between her and the other case officer. And then we became the ones that built the foundation for her case.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.